We about to go live. About to go, about to go live. About to go. Just so y'all know who y'all dealing with. Let it be known without it being known what your girl is working with. Shouts out to my line sister Soror, who gifted me this on her trip to Rwanda. We had an absolute blast. I hope you checked out the live that cut out because we were the bad news bears of the waterfall hike. Your girl did not know what she was getting into. Shout outs to everyone tuning in. This is Jay Essence Journey, and I'm just about to go down. The key thing, honestly, is I'm trying to go live with you guys so you have enough time to say hello, log in, what's up, how you doing, how to be, y'all, what's up, can I play, just keep in touch. And I am going to give you a couple of my pros and cons about moving overseas. But if you have questions, really drive in, really hit those. But I want to talk a little bit about life and telling you that it's officially been, I don't even know anymore. It's been like 4 years, I think 4 years, 5 years living abroad. Um, and I will say, hands down, this is probably one of the best decisions that I made for myself. And it was 100% a selfish decision. So it's probably one of the hardest decisions I made. And I'm not going to say it was hard for me, but I can understand how it's hard for people to make that type of decision. But it was not the hardest decision for me because I felt like it was the only way to save myself. Like, I'm one of those people, like, I can be really nice, I can appease you, I can work with you, but if you box me in a corner, I'm going to come out boxing and scrapping. And so for me, moving overseas was me being boxed in a corner. So it wasn't hard. Like, I was very adult with what I was intending to do. I did not tell everyone because I didn't want to answer questions I didn't have answers for, and that's the naysayers. I didn't want you to sit down, and what happens when you talk to a naysayer is that they have so many nays or negatives, and they start throwing questions at you and everything, expecting you to have answers they don't have themselves. What if you get kidnapped? Well, okay, so tell me the kidnap procedures, and that actually did ask me. Somebody did tell me I should not move overseas because I would get kidnapped. And I was like, whoever is looking for a 40-year-old prostitute to be in these streets obviously is a bad pimp. And we really have to sit down and talk about their life decision making skills. So I don't think I'm kidnappable. And I talk too much. And like, I would be the only person probably kidnapped with an attitude problem. Like, why did you have to kidnap me in these shoes? Did you not see these are my work shoes? Can we at least drive by so I can get some Crocs or some tennis shoes? Because if you want me to walk, like, my arches are bad and I have bad ankles, like, it's not going to look good for you in this Pimpation Street to have me walking down. Have you not seen me how I walk in heels? And it's worse when it's rocks. Like, I have the ugliest walk in the world. I'm just not helping you with your pimp Asian game. I'm not gonna be high on the totem pole. I'm more like if you had me running books, I would be better running books. Like so, um, but I'm going back to the first part where it's like, yeah, people always got something negative to say and can't access it. I'll give you that one. That's a con. Don't know nothing. Um, and um, what I was saying is like, oh, they will give you the negatives, but they don't have answers themselves. And a lot of their negatives come from not quantifying the they. And what I say that means is that people always say, like, they say this, or I heard people say this. And I've learned to have to quantify the they. They said this. Who is they? Because they is plural. And they not only is plural, it usually means majority of. And when you be like, oh, it was my friend Keisha's grandchild. Okay, so number one, that's a singular. Number two, it's a hearsay. Like, so you have to learn how to quantify the they before somebody has the right to say something. The other thing is, I got it from Brene Brown. People who want to criticize or give you critiques or reviews in life need to at least have um acknowledgement, and that's the wrong word, but like accreditation in that area. So when you talk about the naysayers and the people who are not known, like, you can talk to me about living overseas if you've been overseas. But if you ain't left your zip code, you don't have the space to talk to me about being overseas, because what you're doing is you're taking your information. Let's go back to was that fourth grade, fifth grade, primary resources and secondary resources. Natasha, girl, what you doing on the YouTube? Let me tell you this, Natasha, you're not supposed to be on the YouTube because I seen your Facebook posts. You've been out living your best life. So before I did anything, I should see if you want to join in, because Natasha actually just moved and I'm supposed to be breaking down the pros and the cons. So Natasha, I'm going to put this link in, but if you want to come in and tell people, oh, you working, maybe you ain't going to be able to come, but tell people what's your pros about taking the leap, because I know you could talk about the leap. Um, but what's the pros and the cons? So I was talking about the naysayers and how everyone has something. Man, I got so many people coming through. Then, let me do this. That's how it works right there. Um, Natasha said it's cool, but there's so many people who have the naysayers. So I'm gonna go with the pros for me so far. Um, and like I said, if you want to come in, Natasha, on the link, please come in on the link. My first pro was that even moving to Dubai, but then especially moving here, I discovered a peace of mind that wasn't attainable to me when I was in America. And I'm not going to blame America for that. It was just, I don't know if I got so caught up in the life or whatever, but just being away gives me a quiet time to have peace of mind. I'm going to stop my list because I'm letting Natasha come in. Let me get this together. I did. I did. I'm trying to add this. Oh, I see your coffee mug. Don't do me. Don't do me with the coffee mug. Don't do me with the coffee mug. Let me
In 1922,
let me stretch.
SW,
Let me stretch real quick. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
seven young
The
ladies
stretch.
founded a sorority. Colors blue and gold. We are SG Row. Spring 93 in the house.
Girl, fall 96 over here. So you look, we ain't your elders, we your aunties. We gonna
Right,
talk.
right.
We ain't your elders, we are your aunties.
I'm riding high on the boule pictures from
Girl,
last
I mean,
week.
okay, so I would say if we had to talk about pros and cons, that is
Hmm.
definitely a con. I
Missing.
will say missing out on moments.
Today's my
Watching
son's 27th birthday. I'm
first
missing that.
okay, okay, can I just do the girlfriend thing? Like, you got a son that's 27. Like, you're black,
Hmm.
don't crack when you
Mm-mm,
act like that. Ooh,
mm-mm,
but yeah, the missing the moments is the
hmm.
con. It's a hard con. So I'm gonna ask you a hard question. How do you deal with that? How did you handle that?
This morning I did kind of cry
Okay.
because I hate not being there, especially for one of my children. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing something bigger than that one time, so I'm understanding that, and so I'm trying to understand that. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but I did cry.
Mm-hmm. Okay. People
Sorry.
calling you. All right. No, you good. So let me go into the first question of why did you move? And I do want to preference this with saying that Natasha is one of the people who was like with Jay Essence from the beginning, like almost on every live,
Hmm.
asking questions, talking. So tell me about your story.
My story is, you know, I actually had literally a dream. So Adila came over to Rwanda to visit, and I
Hmm.
saw her video, and then she asked on Facebook, Why would you live in a country?" And she just asked the question. I was like, "Cause it's our home." Like, I was big and bad. "Cause it's our home and we need to make it better." Talking about the US.
Mhm.
And then once you make one of those bold statements, be prepared for a bold response from the universe, because it's
Mhm.
going to come in very quickly. And it did. And I had this dream, and I actually dreamed of Rhonda. I've never been here. So why am I dreaming of
Wow.
specific neighborhoods?
Mhm.
And there was another video that came out, and I saw those neighborhoods, and I had just had to sit with myself and sit with God and go, "Is this where I'm supposed to be?"
Mhm.
And the answer after about a week was yes. And so that's why I came. It was a calling that I was supposed to be here. And it was not, it was an easy decision to stay, to say, but not an
Mhm.
easy decision
This
to
decision
follow
to
through
do.
on.
Okay.
Be- Getting rid of everything that
Mhm.
I possess. Because I remember I was like, "So what should I do to ship?" And then you made a video. Anybody that cannot cough at spending 10K, and that's how much my bill was that they wanted to charge me.
Mhm.
And I coughed real hard. I coughed and I threw up. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm. Like reality check.
yes.
Reality
But
check.
it's just being able to expand and do
Mhm.
different, and set a different tone, financially, spiritually, emotionally. Because I'll be quiet in a minute, but Rhonda can give, leaving everything behind can have an emotional toll on you. I came here, I had
Yes.
the flu my first week. The
Mhm.
flu, 101-degree, trying to walk down these hard steps, fell on my face walking down the steps with the fever. All
Mm-mm.
of
You was
this.
like, it's over.
I did. I called a deal. I was like, "Just send me. I just want to go to a hotel. This is just terrible." And I spent the night at her house, got it together, sat on the
Mhm.
steps for a little bit, because you're going to go
Mm.
through some things. You think, "Oh, I'm going to be fine. I'm going to a new life." And you thinking that you're going to
No.
do that. I sat on the
No.
steps in the dark crying
Mhm.
for the second week. And then I
Mhm.
said, "I'm here. I'm supposed to
Mhm.
be here. If you don't get your tail
Mhm.
up." And that's exactly what I did. And now I'm
Mhm.
out in the streets, like you saying.
No, let me stop you. You in the streets. You made it sound like no, you in the streets. But I will say that I do think that it's a misconception that
Hmm.
nobody's ready to have a conversation with themselves. Moving
Hmm.
abroad is not going to fix you and it's not
Right.
going to save you from you.
Exactly. Hmm.
In fact, it's going to be a harder reality check. Like there's been many times I've been ashamed or had to re-question who I am.
Hmm.
And because if you have healing that needs to be done, you still going to have to get healed.
Hmm.
You still have to go. And then there's a lot of stuff that it causes us. Let's go ahead and be real. Like we call each other or whisper to each other, like, hey, is that normal here? Or am I
Right.
tripping? Or
Hmm.
like, okay, okay, am I being taken advantage of? Or am I just
Yep.
being harsh? And like those are a lot of things that do happen and it's a really real because there's so much that we have to go through and I tell people even now as an entrepreneur and being out here like nobody else is coming from the standpoint of their ancestors were slaves
Right.
or
Exactly.
from coming from oppression and even the
Hmm.
way that I will handle things I tend to sometimes think for somebody like man if I was in their situation what would I do and because you still have to be conscious of what your expectations are for me like
Hmm.
I'm a boss so as an entrepreneur these are my expectations this is what you will stand in this is what we're going to do and so you just get a lot of bubbling up of issues you didn't know you had but it's
Hmm.
not a bad but you have space to conquer them here.
Yes.
Okay,
I'm
because I
gonna.
said, am I tripping?
Right. And I'm gonna have to go because I'm dealing with one of those things now where, something was supposed to happen on Friday. It's Monday. Now they're here with the, but I had to
And want to
go,
rush you, and want to rush you,
which
want
is
to
what's
rush you.
happening right now. But we have to continue the conversation
This was
about
a
dealing
good
with
conversation.
yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Rhonda will expose to you who you are, and it will be a trigger for your growth, because that thing that you fear
No, 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 not the chakras aligning and messing up the buffering. Not the oh my gosh. So I'm gonna go ahead and have to pause Natasha here and tell her goodbye. And if there's anybody else who wants to join in and ask questions, you definitely can. But I do feel like Natasha's gonna sit down and we're gonna actually do a real interview. But she moved here probably about a month ago and has just been like doing it, and I'm glad that she was so open and real with the fact of even when you move over, it's not always easy. You have things to do. So one of the cons that she alluded to that I'm going to talk about a little bit more is you miss moments. You miss moments. If I'm going to be very transparent, um like I'm probably like going to be there for graduations, I'm not there for such and such. And I do feel like with some of my close relatives, I'm not in that circle anymore. I'm just the auntie that went off. And the one thing I would say is, how do you get past missing moments? You don't. You get through. Um, you get through things. And the other piece for me, that was my reality check of why I'm missing moments. And yes, that's a con. I needed the pro of being able to be in a space where I could show up to for myself 100% and be who, let me be honest with you, I wanted to be who God had destined me to become, who my parents knew I should be. Does that make sense? So I didn't feel like I was living up to the best I was. So that part was a little bit more important to me, is to figure out who I am and what I'm supposed to be. Girl, the your chakras were not aligned and your buffering went out. I do like the design in the back. That was a
Oh, I got
sidebar.
kicked off.
Yes. And your
I got
name's
kicked
not
off.
up.
I don't know if you can see me.
I see you.
Okay. I got
Okay,
kicked
we see.
off. We're dealing with internet. I have two different services here.
Hmm.
So they're coming to help deal with one, and I was kicked off.
Girl, okay. I could ask deeper questions. I could ask deeper questions, but so that's just getting things aligned up. No, she's flipping back and forth between the Wi-Fi's. Okay. So you were talking about the story about coming here, and you said you knew you were supposed to be here. It was very bold. And then the hardest part was the preparation it took to come.
Mhm. Yes, that was hard. Um, hopefully you can see me. He kicked me off
We
one
can.
Wi-Fi. Okay, yes. Getting rid of everything and just the being attached to things that weren't real. I didn't realize how much I was attached to things until it was time to let them go. And that was hard. And knowing that I would not be there to see events, to be a part of, I have a granddaughter, to be a part of
Mm,
milestones with her, that was extremely hard. But like I was saying, once you're here, it really makes you deal with your triggers that you thought that you dealt with maybe in counseling and all of that, but you only went surface level. But once you start going through some stuff here, it reveals to you who you really are. That's why I sat on the steps in the dark, because but it triggers you to be free of that stuff if you choose to go through it. Or you could I mean, I could have said, "Well, I'm
oblivious.
going back." But who got mhm.
Hmm.
If you want to remain oblivious, you can, but Rhonda or living anywhere overseas will make you deal with all that
Yes.
stuff that you're like, I am healed, I'm done.
No, you're not. No, you're not. It's a always
Exactly.
evolving
Never done.
process. And then I think you did hit on,
Mhm.
I do know people who have flown here, touched the ground, 24 hours, gone back. Um and there's times, many times, especially in my position, where I just have to be quiet because it's like it's not my place to tell you that you got to check yourself. Like you've got to sit there and say, what do you did? And then why did you come? Because if you're running from something, like what I've noticed, and I hate like, oh, I'm getting deep. What I notice is people who are running from something are so busy trying to find an answer or solution. So when you jump and it doesn't look like the way you thought that solution should look, then you're like, that wasn't the way I was supposed to do. That wasn't what God had for me. Like, okay, that's like I'm supposed to find a perfect husband, but you know,
Mhm.
he got dirty drawers. Like, girl, wash the drawers and work with the man. Um, but it's the same place about moving. If you move with a stronger intention of, I know what reality is, I know who I am, I know what I can persevere through, and I know my boundaries. And does this trigger a boundary or not? Or what does it do? Or let me reach out to somebody and figure out how it does work. It's a different type of thing. It's a mindset. And so that's why I think it's very different if you're running from America or you going to Africa. There's two totally different things.
Right. 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 And if you run
So,
here with an escape plan, then you're really not dedicated.
girl, hold up. Girl, this is hilarious. Hold on. I think I got to go back to work. So, real quick before
I
I
was
do,
saying
so to
I'll formally join. I was saying I'll formally join at another time, but this is one of the issues. I have to have two services in case one go out and the other one comes, but they're here working on one of them now. You
girl, I'm
got
about
to
to get
have
into
some
the
street
real.
sense.
Who do
But
you
I'm gonna
have?
I'll f-
You have your Airtel? Do you have your Airtel? Okay, because your Airtel should be your saver. Because
I
I
have
don't have Airtel.
I have
The,
liquid and I have liquid and I have MTN and I have Airtel as a hotspot.
that's too much. Liquid, girl. Let me tell you right now. I know your problem with Liquid. I know because it's something with the modem, isn't it? They keep
Sure
on
is. That's what
restarting it.
he's here. He just disconnected it without telling me before. Yep,
Okay,
that's
so
what's
let me
happening
tell you
right now.
because I'm gonna have to shout out Carl and Sheena. So Liquid went through an upgrade. Their internet is actually really, really good. However, when they went through the upgrade, they do not have the modems here for the upgrade, and the modem costs $30 in the states.
Hmm.
So I'll shoot it to you because if you have
Well, I'm
shipping
I'm
set up,
gonna
you can get it shipped to you.
I'm going back to the States to take my daughters to school next month, taking
Okay,
them back. One finishes college,
I'll
the other
send
one
you a
has two
picture of
years,
it.
and I will let me know.
I have a picture of it. I'll send it to you because after I got this modem, I had so many less problems. The only times I have problems is when the company itself is actually going through an outage. I forget about that. That's the little stuff that you
Yes.
forget about. All right, so
Yes.
let
Yes.
me okay, I gotta go. So everybody, I hope y'all enjoyed this quick one because I gotta go back to work. That's what I get for trying to sneak off the job.
Thank you. Sorry about the issues. Yeah, I got to
Bye.
get back to work too. Bye.